First off, we have Lions, Panthers. I don't think that we have to talk too much about this one because it's pretty much a given. Lions are favored by 10 points. Jesus Christ.
It's a big one. Gavin, what do we think?
That's the Lions.
I mean, yeah. What is there to break down? The Panthers suck. The Lions are great. They're favored by 10 points. Probably generous. Lions are going to win. Ryan, agreed, Ryan?
I think they're going to win the game. Yeah, Dan
Campbell, I'd run through a brick wall for him.
Oh, my God.
How do you not like that guy?
Love that guy.
Incredible.
The intensity, so real with the interview. And the Lions are getting Jameson Williams back, the first round pick for Bama.
Yeah.
He had the whole betting thing, which he got suspended for betting not on any NFL game, but because he bet in the facility. That's a different topic.
It is a weird rule, but yeah.
It's a different topic for a different time. But yeah, Lions win this game. Dan Campbell was the famous line initially to start off, bite someone's kneecap off. They might bite off a kneecap in this one.
All right, next one. Guys, the Ravens are favored by 4.5 points going into Pittsburgh. Matt Canada's story has been circling around. Mike Tomlin has been given flowers to flowers. And
I see what you did there.
It is, listen, Ravens hung up 28 points on the number 1 ranked defense last week. What do we got?
Gav, keep it going.
I never get excited when we play the Steelers. I think minus 4.5 is those games always seem like they come down to a field goal. But I like the Ravens going in there. And I think that the Colts loss, as bad as it was, I think it was good for the Ravens early.
Like it. I'm with it. I'm taking the Ravens. I don't know of always the points, and I'll explain this real quickly. We know this. If you watch the Ravens Steelers, they're usually grinded out, slugfest type games.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh always plays better at home. And actually, if we're looking over the last, if I'm reading this correctly, the last 6 meetings, only one game has been decided by more than 4 points. And that was when the Ravens lost to Pittsburgh in 2020, 19-14, when the entire team was out really with COVID during Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Or that Thanksgiving game that was played on the following Wednesday, I think is what happened. So it's going to be close, but give me Baltimore.
All right. I got Baltimore too. I don't think it's actually going to be close. We'll see, but that offense is atrocious. And the Ravens are almost 100% healthy. We might see Marlon Humphrey on the field this coming week and Marcus Williams as well. That happens. I don't think the Steelers have a chance.
Well, that'd be nice.
It would be nice. Next up, we got Bills. Jags are going to be across the pond. I think this is going to be an interesting one. We talked about this before we went on air, Ryan, about this game. It's another London game. The Jags has stayed over there since last week, as you recall them taking it to the Falcons. We got the Bills are favored by 5.5 points. I'm taking the under on points here, just because you got Bills coming in. Yeah, they had an amazing game against the Dolphins, but I think it's going to be a little bit different. The Jaguars have been well rested up. They've adjusted to being in London, and say what you will, but that is a tough adjustment with just a few days to play after getting there. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I actually like the Jaguars here.
Well, stop traffic, because I don't. I like Buffalo to roll in this. White, their star cornerback, is done for the year. I think I just read, but that defense is still ferocious. Von Miller is getting back soon. I don't trust that the Jaguars are going to figure out their offense struggles, which they've had. They put up a few more points, but they did have a pick 6 against Atlanta. Other than that, they've struggled to score points since week 1. I'd like Buffalo. I think Josh Allen's going to have a big game.
I think that Jacksonville staying in London is a huge advantage. Being acclimated there. I like your pick. I'm going to go Jacksonville in this one, even though the Bills are playing really good football. I think that this could be a letdown from their big win last week against the Dolphins, where they looked really, really good. The
Rams and Eagles, this is going to be a good game, I think. What's the line here? Let me just bear with me a second.
Right here, 4.5.
Eagles are favored by 4.5. This is another upset to me. The Rams are just playing really good football, man. And Puka is
Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp's back.
Cooper Kupp's
now.
back, right? Yeah, but do we know if he's going to be playing or not?
It hasn't been decided yet.
I mean, Matt Stafford is slinging it. And I think that we still haven't quite figured, and we talked about this earlier in the week, we still haven't quite figured out the identity of the Eagles, even though that they're 4-0. The way that they've been playing has been like really sus. They almost lost it to the Commanders last week. Yeah. Obviously, it's a division game, but we know how division game goes. But regardless, the Eagles should have been a far superior team, and it just didn't look like they were. In week 1, we even saw kind of like weird. They gave up a ton of points late in the game to bring the Patriots back into that too. So it's just weird. The Rams, you at least know who they are, and with Matt Stafford slinging it around, I think that it's possible and likely that the Rams could end up sneaking a win or taking one away from the Eagles and handing them their first loss.
I don't hate that. I think Matt Stafford's having a great year so far. And being in LA is going to be a little bit more challenging. But I just don't know if Cooper Kupp plays, it's going to change really the whole complexion, because the Eagles have gotten beat passing the football.
Their secondary isn't as good as.
Well, and they're a little bit banged up, but they're not going to get run on.
Right.
They're gonna do well offensively, I think. I'm still gonna take the Eagles in this one. I think that because of how badly they played at home defensively, I think they bounce back. But I think the Rams definitely could cover this one.
I'm gonna go against you guys. I think the Eagles win pretty big.
Ooh.
I think they come out. I think
traffic.
I think this is the first week where they really put together a really good football game. I think that they've played decent. Obviously everybody's saying that they haven't clicked yet. They're obviously 4-0. I think they put together a really good week here, and I think they win by more than 4.5.
Oh, more than 4.5.
More.
Wow. Okay.
I think they give it to them.
Chiefs are favored by 3.5. Man, this is going to be a close game. I think the Chiefs, as we know, close game against the Jets. And this is another team, right? Like that we still haven't quite figured out who they are this year because of offensively, they've had a lot of questions. They lost against the Lions. The only team that really beat convincingly, I thought, was the Bears, just like everybody else in the NFL. But I think that, the Vikings have had a tough go. Yeah. Kirk Cousins has been throwing a lot of INTs. But I think it's going to be a pretty close. I don't think that Vegas is wrong on this 3.5 points, but I am going to have to take Chiefs. I got to take my homeboy. And that's the first. Is that the first? Yeah, I think that's the first one I've taken that's in favor this week so far.
All right. Gav?
This is tough for me because I'm a big Kirk Cousins fan.
Captain Kirk.
Me too.
He's having an incredible season, but they just haven't won, which is tough start.
I have him in my fantasy league, and he's just bananas.
He's unbelievable.
Balling.
The only thing, though, is I think that the Chiefs they played so poorly against the Jets, and they're being talked about, and Mahomes is being, did Zach Wilson outplay him on Sunday Night Football? I think that he's going to take that out on the Vikings. It's going to be
a good point.
A high-scoring game. But I think the Chiefs are going to – I think Mahomes is going to come out and kind of – say I'm still here.
Well, and the interesting thing is, before you give your pick, Ryan, is that the Chiefs defense has actually been good all year. Yeah. And it kind of seemed as if they lost a step last week. So it'll be interesting if they also have a bounce back game. But I agree. That's a very good point.
I'm with Gav on that. I think because that it was so magnified that they didn't play well, and Mahomes offensively wasn't really himself. Now the Jets defenses was lights out. They played extremely well. I have a tough time seeing the Chiefs having 2 bad offensive games in a row. I don't care how the defenses are. I don't trust the Vikings defense. I think Kirk can keep it close, but it's not going to be close enough to win the game.
All right. Next up, we got Colts, Titans. Divisional matchup in the AFC South. The Titans are favored by 2.5. My God. I think it is a toss-up. I think it's a coin flip as to who wins this. But if I had to go with a team that had the better defense, I think it's the Colts. And I'm going to go Colts on this one as the underdogs.
It's me.
Yeah.
I'm the problem. It's me. I should have saved that for a Taylor Swift and the Chiefs. I am going to take Tennessee in this one. I think, quite frankly, I think the Titans are this team we can't figure out, but they're going to be in it the whole way.
Yep. Mike, the coaching is just incredible. Yeah.
Well, this is the point I brought up last week, and we both agreed on this. We thought that there's no chance that they were to get embarrassed or or come out unprepared against the Bengals, which they didn't. They smoked them.
Yeah.
Now it's, can you do it again? And this is a big game because that division's up for grabs right now. Truly is up for grabs. So Tennessee, I trust them. I think Derrick Henry does his thing. I think they do enough to win.
I agree. I think Tennessee, I think it comes down to coaching, and they always find a way where they're not going to wow you, but they win games, and you'll see them in the playoffs, and they're never a fun team to play.
They just grind it out, man.
They grind it out.
They really do. We got Bengals and
Cards.
Cards. The Cards are favored by 3 points.
No.
Sorry,
No,
Bengals are favored by 3
3
points. Which honestly, I think the Cardinals should be favored by 3 points. The Bengals are just playing bad football. Joe Burrow still can't get mobile with that calf injury, and he's just an absolutely different guy out there on the field. Still hasn't quite proven it to me, and until he does, I'm just not going to be a believer in Cincinnati. Josh Dobbs is playing some pretty good ball, and so for those reasons, I'm taking the Cards.
I'll take this one. I don't want the Bengals to win this game, but I think that they do. I just, if the Bengals lose this game, the season's over.
Yeah.
Like it is, and not saying that it couldn't be in jeopardy right now, but if losing to the Cardinals, it's a game you must have. And actually, then the game is in Arizona, not in Cincy. So if they, and that's going to make it tougher. I think Arizona could pull
next 4 games.
All right, but that's the part. If they lose this game, they have Seattle, San Francisco, Buffalo, Houston, Baltimore, actually.
They could go 2-4, and that would be playing well.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have to win this game. So I'm for that reason, because they must win the game. I think they get it done against Arizona.
I agree. I think they have to get this win. I think that Jamar Chase is going to have a big game because he was very outspoken last week saying that he's always open. But they need him to step up, and they need Mixon to step up to get the guys off of Burrow, because he's obviously can't move around very well right now, and this is a must win.
The Bengals have scored 2 total touchdowns. Is that right? This entire year? Oh, that's 2 passing touchdowns this entire year.
Yeah, one rushing.
They're gonna have to do more than that to beat the Cardinals. Jets, Broncos. This is gonna be the revenge game, right?
Yeah, Zach Wilson and the Jets going to play the Denver Broncos here, and that's after Nathaniel Hackett was just called out by Sean Payton about saying this is arguably one of the worst coaching performances in NFL history.
Yeah.
And the fact that you come after a grown man or anybody like that as a professional, which Hackett didn't do anything wrong besides the team was not good.
Yeah.
He's not a bad guy. He didn't do anything and just out of his way. I think the Jets win this game. I think the Jets go, they don't forget. And I think that Broncos defense is awful.
Yes.
Terrible. Gav?
This is tough. Because I don't know what Wilson we're going to see. Obviously, if we see the Wilson from last week, I think they could be a playoff team potentially. But, do we get excited about, one good half? I don't know. Obviously I love that this is going to get really chippy. I think you're going to see how much the Broncos guys like Sean Payton, and you're going to see how much the Jets guys like Hackett. If the players come to play for their coaches, this will be a fun game. I'm going to take the Jets.
I'm taking the Jets as well. The Broncos are favored by 2 points. I just think that the Jets, even though they haven't had their record doesn't reflect it, I do think that they are a better team than the Broncos just all around. There's just not one element to that football team that has been good at all. So anyways, I'm taking Jets on this one. I do hope that we see a continuation of Zach Wilson. As much flack as he's gotten, and we've talked about this, Ryan, it's kind of been a lot, almost too much at this point. Yeah, he hasn't played good ball, but between Rodney Harrison going after him and baiting Chris Jones, it was like you almost kind of feel like you want to root for the guy now.
Yeah.
So I'm going Jets on this one.
Falcons, Texans, Brad. We talked about this for a while about how much we like CJ Stroud.
Yes.
How much you liking CJ Stroud this week?
I'm loving him. The Texans are not favored in this game. Falcons are favored by 1.5. I'm taking the underdogs on this one. And CJ Stroud has just been playing unbelievably well. He'll probably will be the rookie of the year.
So what's the Texans record?
2-2.
2-2.
2-2.
And not just that they barely snuck by those wins. They dominated Jacksonville at Jacksonville, won by 20, and then come home to play Pittsburgh,
whooped on them,
and didn't allow a touchdown.
Yeah.
So
that was the other thing we talked about too. What was it against the Colts? We talked about the Texans defense and how good they were, and that carried over from last year. So CJ Stroud even has that support on that side. So I'm taking Texans all the way here.
I'm excited to see. I think that this could be the matchup of the two guys that could win Rookie of the Year. I think Bijan Robinson is unbelievable. So it'd be interesting to see how Texans handles him, because he's an electric player. So I think I'm going to go the Falcons on this one.
If the Falcons run the football well, they're going to win the game. Because that's what they have to do. They don't want Desmond Ridder to throw. The Texans are very strong in the secondary. But if they can't run the ball efficiently and effectively throughout the game, Texans, I'm still taking Texans. I think CJ Stroud is a superstar in the making. And I wouldn't be surprised. The Texans win this game. We have to seriously start to consider them of being in the conversation to win that division.
The Cowboys and the 49ers. Another
game of the week.
Yeah, game of the week. I believe this is a Sunday night game, correct?
Yes.
Sunday night game. So this is going to be
in San Fran.
It's going to be a great game to watch. San Fran is favored by 3.5 points. I think that this game could be a blowout game, and the 49ers are going to take it to the Cowboys, because the Cowboys, the three teams that they've beaten are all 1-3, and they lost to the Cardinals. To me, they just haven't proven to me that they are the team that a lot of people have put them on this pedestal. When they do this, Cowboys fans do this beginning of the year, every year. They're the Super Bowl team. They get one giant win, and it's like all of a sudden, they're Super Bowl contenders, blah, blah, blah. If the Cowboys beat the 49ers somehow, then maybe I'll start to be a little bit more of a believer. But it is a prove-it-to-me game, and I just think the 49ers are a far superior team. Christian McCaffrey is going to run all over the Cowboys, and it's not even going to be close, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree more. I think that, it seems that whenever Dak gets into these games, he kind of doesn't play up to the game. I'm a big fan of Purdy's. It seems like he makes the right plays at the right time and doesn't make the big mistakes. So I agree. I think 49ers, I think they're the best team in football. And I think that they can really put it to them. Yep. Primetime game at home. I like them big.
Right.
Yeah. I think San Fran, their defense to me is going to it has given problems. I want to see Dak do well, by the way. Like I really do. But he's going to have to fight his demons against the 49ers. And the 49ers have been a problem not only for him, but for the Dallas Cowboys in the last two games, especially. And they got to try to wipe that or get that bad taste out of their mouth. You're looking at the two playoff losses consecutively to the 49ers. And Brock Purdy has not lost a game in the regular season as a starting quarterback. Yeah. Games in San Fran.
Unbelievable.
He's got an electric nickname as well, which you guys can.
Big Cock Brock.
Well, there it is. And he is going to go out there, and I hope he continues to play well. And it's a great story. Did you see also that apparently he shares rent? He has a roommate. He has a roommate, drives a Toyota Sequoia. How do you not want this guy to do well? He's just living his life, man.
The Saints, I think, are favored by 1. Yes, they're favored by 1. Yeah. This is going to be a defensive matchup. For obvious reasons. I am going to take the Saints. Patriots just have not been playing good ball. Unfortunately, I kind of thought that perhaps they were going to turn a leaf. They just haven't seemed to do that. Bill Belichick is under some scrutiny, I think, up to this point. And Bill O'Brien looked like he was making some changes to that offense to help out Mac Jones, and it just doesn't look like Mac Jones has been that dude.
Is he starting this week? I know he got benched.
Did Mac Jones get benched?
He got benched last week.
Oh, that's.
I don't even know if he's. I mean, I would imagine he's starting, but
I would imagine he's starting, but he's probably on a very short leash.
Yeah,
I think. Well, right now, I talk about a game that both these teams, Saints, need to stop the bleeding. They let that game against the Packers get away. The big comeback. You lose at home to the Bucks. Like, you can't afford to lose a third straight game and 2 straight at home and try to compete for the division.
It's a must win for both teams.
But having said that, I think New England wins. If it's going to be a dogfight, give me the defense that I think will be stronger, and I think that's going to be the Patriots. I think they're going to say, hey, Zeke and Stevenson, you are going to get the ball 50 times. And if we don't do anything, fine, but we're not going to make mistakes that are going to take us out of this game. If the Saints beat us, it's going to be because that they put up a bunch of points. Give me the Patriots on the road.
I believe Judon's out for the year, right?
Judon's out indefinitely, but more than likely they did lose their star emerging cornerback as well for the Patriots.
Oh.
But I'm still just, if we're going to do coaching between the two, I don't think the environment's going to be, it's going to New Orleans isn't as daunting as it used to be.
Yeah.
And so, yes, the Saints could bounce back, but the Patriots also were just embarrassed on the 4:00 national game. Give me New England.
All right. Last game that we're picking this week, it's the Dolphins and the Giants. I think this is the Dolphins are favored by 11.5 points. I think this is it probably goes without saying. The Dolphins are going to take out all of their frustrations from last week on the Giants, and it's going to be a bajillion to 0.
Yeah, I think this is the easiest pick of the week. I got Dolphins in this one.
They're over on everything.
I got Fins as well, but I think that we'll see some sort. I bet you this. Darren Waller gets the football this week, because if he doesn't, I don't know what they're doing.
Darren Waller gets the ball this week if Daniel Jones can actually get the ball out. And this, I talked about this, or I put a tweet out. You actually retweeted me earlier this week. Daniel Jones is on pace for getting sacked 110 times this year. He's been sacked 22 times through the first 4 games, and a lot of people want to place the blame on that guy, but he can ball. We've seen him do that. He just has to be upright for more than 1.5 seconds.
He's rattled, and he's rattled right now too.
I mean,
his internal
running for your life.
His internal clock's going off. But another way to just, I don't know, make him feel better. Maybe draw up plays to get to your superstar tight end. And if you want a tight end to block, which is that's what won me a fantasy matchup, is that Waller kept blocking and Kenneth Walker went off. Kenny Walker is the captain of my team. If this was the case, if you want someone to block, leave someone else in the block and let Darren Waller go run a route, or have him be involved in the offense, because they have 0 chance if he only has 1 target going into the 4th quarter. It's going to be Dolphins, but I think squeaky wheel Darren Waller is going to get the ball this week.
Yeah.
Whammy.
Yep.
Looking good.
Good pick, right?
That's it. That's going to do it for our picks